Ready?
I have.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. And at this time, at 6:30, August 24, 2017, I will call this City Commission meeting to order. We will stand for our invocation by Pastor Hall, and we will follow that by Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you, Pastor.
Shall we pray? Our Father, tonight we are so thankful for the wonders of your love, your mercy, and your grace of which we have been beneficiary. We're so thankful for your provision in our lives, and especially of the provision of elected officials and employees to a city that minister to the needs of the people of this community in righteousness and integrity. And we ask, O Heavenly Father, that righteousness and integrity be seen and experienced by all. We ask, O Heavenly Father, that in this meeting this night, that all would accomplish the good of this city, the good of the individuals as well as the community. And Lord, we'll bless you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor James.
Here.
Vice Mayor Evans.
Here.
Commissioner Jameson.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion on the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, this has been properly moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as printed. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. All right, motion carries 5-0. Approval of minutes for August the 10th and minutes for August the 10th and the budget workshop for August 15th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for August 10th and August 15th.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and second that both the minutes from the 10th and the budget workshop from the 15th be approved. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Next item. Presentation of WCA Educational Scholarship Award in the amount of $1,000 to High Springs resident Ashley Isley.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
It's going to be a very exciting tonight. It's going to be a great thing to be able to give out this scholarship to one of your own high school students here. You see WCA, we do an Inspire Scholarship Fund, and essentially what happens is any high school graduating senior can actually submit an essay about a topic for an environmental impact that it could have right here when you're within your community. So after reading through several of these, we found that this one to be quite interesting, to say the least. A terminology that I've never actually heard before, and I hope I pronounce this correctly. If I don't, she's going to have to help me out. So Miss Ashley wrote an essay about eutrophication, right? Okay. And that is a mouthful.
Glad that you would not be skilled.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I actually worked on that for like 30 minutes a day trying to get that accurate. So hopefully I pulled it off somewhat. But anyways, the definition of this, and I will not say that again, is it is the process by which a body of water becomes enriched in dissolved nutrients that stimulates the growth of aquatic plant life, usually resulting in the depletion of dissolved oxygen. So in a nutshell, algae basically filtrates in and kills out basically all the vegetation and all the good stuff that lives in your ponds and water. So found it to be pretty interesting. We're excited tonight to be able to present a check to her. So we'd like to bring her up. And on behalf of WCA, we're glad to be able to give her a check in the amount of $1,000 to be able to be used for her future education. So congratulations.
Nice.
All right.
Of course, you're going to get the big deposit slip.
Nice to meet you. Newspaper tonight. What's her name?
Thank you. Congratulations again.
I see. They were trying to get ready to take pictures.
I say congratulations to you too.
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
keep up the good work. All right.
Oh, hey, Ashley, would you announce to everybody where you're going to school, please?
Well, of course, the University of Florida.
The University.
All right. Unfinished business. Item number 1. Discuss and consider request from WCA for a 2.2% CPI increase in residential and commercial solid waste services.
Yes, ma'am. We monitor WCA quite extensively. We looked at the complaints the commissioners have gotten. We also have complaints here, realizing that part of these complaints also are individuals who call in that forgot to put their trash out, call in and are hoping that they'll come back. And so, and I've been involved in garbage collection for a long time, and now we know that. And there are a few valid complaints in here too. We're going to recommend that we go ahead and give WCA the 2.2% increase in the CPI because we couldn't justify not giving it to them. But we are going to continue monitoring them throughout the year and look at complaints and we'll get there. But right now things have gotten a lot better.
I agree. They have gotten a lot better, but we will be watching.
That's right.
So do you need a motion on that, Ed? Or?
Yes.
All right, I make a motion to approve the request from WCA for a 2.2% increase in CPI.
Second.
All right, have been properly.
Can I say something before we take the vote? I just want to make sure on this deal, so people listen, the 2.2, that's not being passed along to the citizens. That's built within the budget, so this increase will not go to the homeowners or the businesses. Okay, I don't want them to think that their rate is going up. It will maintain as it is. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, it has been properly moved in second that the 2.2% CPI be approved for WCA. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0.
Thank you for the support.
Okay, thank you.
With yours, I can go bathroom.
Item number 2 is consider ordinance 2017-08.
Madam Mayor, this is an ordinance of the City of High Springs, Florida, amending the future land use map of the City of High Springs Comprehensive Plan as amended, relating to an amendment of 10 or less acres of land pursuant to an application CPA Z17-000044 by the property owners of said acreage under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3248 of the Florida statutes as amended, providing for a change in the land use classification from county rural agriculture, less than or equal to 5 dwelling units per acre, to city mixed use, less than or equal to 12 dwelling units per gross acre, on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of High Springs, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass ordinance number 2017-08 as read by title only.
Thank you. All right, do we have any comments from the audience on this issue? Okay, seeing no one, close the public hearing portion. All right, any comments from the panel?
No, ma'am.
I think we're pretty clear on this one, right?
Yes.
Second reading, yes.
All right, in that case, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the adoption of ordinance 2017-08 on the second and final reading.
Second.
All right, properly moved in second. Ms. Pong, roll call, please.
Mayor Denton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Evans.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
All right, motion carries 5-0. Next item, number 3, is consider ordinance 2017-9.
Madam Mayor, this is ordinance number 2017-09, an ordinance of the City of High Springs, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of High Springs Land Development Code as amended, relating to the rezoning of less than 10 contiguous acres of land pursuant to an application LDC-AUZ 17-00001 by the property owners of said acreage, providing for rezoning from County Agriculture A to City C3 Commercial of certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of High Springs, Florida, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Appropriate motion is to pass ordinance number 2017-09 upon its reading by title only.
Again, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Comments from the audience? Okay, seeing no one, we will close that portion, and I'll ask for discussion from the panel. Again, we're all satisfied here. Motion, please.
I move that we consider ordinance 2017-09 as read.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. Ms. Palm?
Vice Mayor Evans.
Yes.
Commissioner Jameson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Denton.
Yes. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Moving right along to citizens' requests and comments for issues that are not on the agenda. Please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Okay, seeing no one come forth, we shall move right along. New business. Review and rank consulting engineering services firms for the High Springs Restoration Project.
Madam Mayor, the staff took a hard look at all the applications, but really felt that they could all adequately do the project themselves. We rank ordered them the way they are in your packet, with Dewberry being on top. I have to caveat that with we have not purchased the property yet. It was appraised. We're having a local attorney do the negotiations for us because of his knowledge with the individual that owns the property, which is Dr. Ladano, who also has a development in that area. So because he has a development and we have a relationship, I could not do the negotiations. I gave it to an attorney to do. And we're hopefully in the next 30 days, we will come up with either agreement or non-agreement. I will have to say that I discussed this with the county. We were at a luncheon, as we have once a month, and the county staff basically said if we had to change the project, we could do so. As soon as we found out we could or could not buy the property, I will bring it back to the council. We'll then put it on an agenda and we'll have you a vote on what project you would then like to do next.
Any comment from anybody?
No?
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we accept Dewberry as the ranking as provided. Because you would have to go through and contract with Dewberry, and if they didn't, would you then go to the second, correct?
That is correct.
Yes, that's correct.
So instead of saying Dewberry, what we need to do is to approve the ranking
Yes,
as provided and then negotiate accordingly.
that's right.
Okay, that's the motion I put forward.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved that and second, that we take the ranking as specified. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Next item, number 2. Consider proposed collective bargaining agreement with American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees for a 3-year period.
Yes, ma'am. This contract has been vetted by the state, by the staff. It also has been voted on. I'm going to have to give real kudos to Jenny and them who actually typed it up, and we did much more than a city would do for the contract for the union. And then we finally came to the kind of language that we both agreed that they took a vote, and here it is. These all meet your requirements as you stated, which was for the 3% one-time, whatever it is, lump sum. And it has everything to do with what is in the personnel manual at this time.
Okay.
This contract goes along with the budget.
And you say it's already been approved.
It has been approved by the union and by the members.
Very good. Okay. Your motion?
I got a question.
Oh, okay.
Please. I'm in agreement. I'm with you. How do we identify the employees who are eligible for the one-time lump sum payment? Is there something in there that says employed as of September 30th or October 1st? Because I would have somebody, if they get hired October 5th, do they get the lump sum payment because they're employed at the time?
It doesn't, but I think historically, it's always been the 9/30 pay that.
Well, I would just, if that's something, I don't know if that needs to be specified, because I don't want to, this is for current employees. And so I would just want to make sure somebody comes in, and when do you normally pay it?
It'll be the first off pay period of October, so it's going to be, yeah.
Right.
So I think it's October 5th. I think I have to look at the month.
Okay. That's all. I just want to make sure the money goes to the employees that it's intended to go to. That's all.
It will. But is it not based on the former or the last year's payment to the employee?
Historically, yes, that's how we've always
That's
done
right.
it. It's not been in writing, and that might be something that we want to.
If we're good on that, that's fine. I just want to make
Right.
sure that it goes to who's supposed to receive it. So if that's what we've done, that's fine. But somebody gets hired October 4th, and the check comes out on the 5th, are they getting money?
Are we planning on hiring
They
anybody?
might get 1 day's worth of 3%.
No, that's not what it says. It
Okay.
says 3%. So I
Right.
just want to make sure we're, that's all.
We didn't, if you do it from the prior year, then everybody that's made, there's a lot of people who do a lot of overtime, you would have to pay the 3% of the overtime also.
Yeah.
I believe budgeted was just their flat annual salary.
Yeah.
Base salary.
Yes.
Sure. Are we planning on hiring anybody in the next 30 days? Well, just tell whoever you're hiring, you're not getting the bonus.
Yeah.
But see, we have done it in the past where we hired somebody end of, September 20th and they got the increase, but somebody that may have gotten hired after October 1, for example, when we gave the 3% across the board, they did not get it.
Just don't hire them until October 1.
If there's a past practice that is present to do
Yes.
that, then that's fine. I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. If there's past practice,
So we
that's fine.
should, for future, when it comes
I'm just
up,
saying in the
that's
future, if
probably
there's
not a
past
bad
practice,
idea.
then I'll go and I'll call for the vote then.
Okay, we all satisfied here? Okay, all right. Motion?
It's been motioned and seconded already.
Okay, I'll wake up. All right.
It was already motioned and seconded, wasn't it?
No, you started talking before anybody could.
I started to when you said wait, I have a question.
I apologize.
Okay,
You can make a motion. I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Since I'm the one that asked it. I'll make the motion to pass it.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly motioned and second that the agreement be approved. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Scott, who's on first?
I don't know. I think he got.
Next item is
Kick off
item
the
number
base.
3. Discussion on the position of CRA Executive Director.
Madam Mayor, this is my recommendation. Her contract is coming up pretty soon. Simply bringing her as a city employee already identifies her in her contract that she's a city employee. We just simply make that happen. This actually needs to be discussed more with the CRA board than this particular end, but this is my route to that is to give you a recommendation. I really wasn't here to discuss it. I was just giving you my recommendation.
Okay.
I'm assuming this will come up again in the CR.
Should come up in the
meeting.
CRA, yes.
Okay, so we need to do nothing here tonight?
No.
Oh, okay. Yes.
The current contract expires September 30th, and the CRA's next meeting is September 21st, I believe. So if we don't have direction tonight, do you just want staff to prepare as if for both scenarios, and then you would make a decision at the CRA meeting on the 21st? Usually you meet earlier in the month, and this month, because of the budget, you'll meet later in the month. So we just want to make sure that staff's prepared for what you want to do then.
Will it be a big hindrance to prepare for both?
It will not.
No.
Okay.
Okay, then that's what we'll do.
Let me, and I think that's a good idea, but I would add this caveat to it that if the decision is to make her an employee, then I would suggest that the title has to be changed to director and not executive director. So it is even, and this is not the person, this is so the position is equal to all the other directors.
Okay.
Now, you don't have an executive director and then directors. So I would say within the contract, within the language to become a city employee, that it be reclassified as director, CRA director, not executive director, just to put it in line with the other administrative staff.
We can do that. Just to be clear, the executive director right now is an employee. It would just be, instead of being the manager's recommendation is instead of her being a contract employee that answers to the CRA, she would now be a regular employee without an employment contract that would answer to the city manager like others. And so in that case, we would have, instead of a contract, we would have like a job description and could use whatever title the CRA
I would suggest it
wants.
be director so it's in line with everybody else. That's all I'm saying. Okay, thank you.
CRA Director. Any other comments? Okay. Item number 4, discuss designating the farmers market manager position as a CRA position. Anybody speak on that?
It goes along with if the CRA director will be a director, then basically the farmers market manager needs to be an employee also and fall under that. So.
Follow through. Anybody have comments?
Go ahead.
So you're saying the manager who is now will become a city employee?
Yes.
Will that be
Part-time.
Okay, that was my question.
I mean, yeah, part-time. I mean, it is a part-time position.
So basically, man, we're creating another position for the city of High Spring. Because right now, the farmers market is right now part of High Spring. Am I?
Right now, she's paying as a 1099.
Right.
But the reality is, she only works for the city of High Springs she really cannot be a 1099 employee. She needs to be a regular employee. And so we do pay her every week. So there's some, we're going to have to discuss with her so that she gets paid similar to what she's getting now. But in all, we went to a labor, Mr. Booth was there as well, and she really does not qualify as a contract employee, as a contract labor 1099. She really falls under the employee. She only works for the city of High Springs. We direct her. She doesn't make the decisions. It's all done by employees from the city.
Okay. It's all my understanding that the farmer market was not a part. The farmer market was the farmer market, and it was a part of the city of High Springs. But so now you're going to draw up a description for that job, and then she's going to become an employee of the city of High Springs. So then that make the farmer market High Springs.
But has it not always been High Springs?
But help me, Jen. At time past, I think it was considered as a part of the.
It's kind of went back and forth. It originally was under the farmer's market.
Right.
Then Main Street managed it. And then I think it went back under the Main Street, and I think it went back to CRA under the city. But it's always called the High Springs Farmers Market.
Yeah, I know I always called that, but it's always been so confusing to me about that farmer
Right,
market.
and I know since, at least for the last 4 years, the city has been paying for anything that's associated with the farmer's market.
Okay.
So, and I don't foresee that being different. We're just going to work out an hourly wage for her to come out for her Thursdays and all, so that it still remains budget neutral.
Right.
Okay.
And the same thing with the CRA. I don't see anything changing there. There's a CRA board.
Right.
That individual then answers to the board. It gets direction from the CRA board. And so, it's not any different than Recreation has their own board, and he takes some.
I would disagree with that. She would not take direction from us on a daily deal. She may get the grant, but she would take daily direction from the city manager.
That is correct.
She's an employee.
Right.
We would not have anything to do with her as an employee. We would oversee the CRA.
That's right.
Her actions as an employee would come directly underneath the city manager.
Right.
Mr. Walker?
Right.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Okay. Would it be possible on this one here, Mr. Walker, just to make sure she's set from a legal standpoint on the pay, but just because to me, if we're in violation of how we're being paid, then we would need to make the move
Well, I think
on the manager.
what Jennifer's speaking to is there's a test on the IRS for 1099 employees, and it's a very factual-based test. And Courtney, I think it's a list of 20 criteria that the IRS looks to as to whether somebody's an employee or a 1099 independent contractor, and we can certainly
Just to confirm
look at
that.
that.
So
Certainly.
if we're in violation, then
Not a
obviously
problem.
the move.
Sure.
And that, I'm sorry. And that's something I have discussed with staff and conferred and agreed with that assessment. And when we originally started this process, if you'll remember, we had 2 managers that were doing it together. And so things have changed over time, and how much control the city has is one of the biggest factors for independent contractors. So it's not necessarily that we were doing anything wrong before, it's that the nature of that relationship has changed over time. And so now the recommendation is that we would classify this as a part-time employee.
Okay.
Is this something that needs to be spoke at the CRA, since technically, at least from my understanding, technically right now, that's kind of the farmer's market is under direction of the CRA? Or do we need to do this tonight?
You guys can do that. What you're doing is you're just classifying that in that it would be overseen by the CRA. Right now, the farmer's market is budget neutral. And so while the city is paying right now 1099 and now as a salary, it comes from the revenue from the farmer's market. So it's not coming out of anyone's budget per se, but this is certainly something that we could put on a CRA agenda too, just so it's discussed there. But this is, the manager's just saying, this is what we're doing, and we'd like to classify it with the CRA instead of putting it in a different department.
But, I do think it still needs to be its own department.
Need to be doing what now?
I'm sorry, what?
I think it needs to be its own department still.
Oh.
Okay, well, I thought the recommendation was that it was going to be under the CRA.
I don't think it can be under the CRA. Am I wrong, Amanda? What? Can it be under the in the?
Yes, most farmers markets that are run by city government are run through a CRA in Florida. That's how they're set up. It is usually your CRA that is managing it, and the farmers market is, just a program of the CRA.
So all the revenues go in there and all expenditures?
Correct.
Okay. Then that even makes it better.
Okay, so everything go up under the CRA instead of having, like we have now, a farmer's market budget and.
So all that will be moved, so we'll.
Yeah, that's it. It's always been confusing to me.
When's second reading?
Okay. It goes under the CRA, and the CRA goes under
City High Springs.
No, it goes under the city manager.
Right.
Y'all are meeting on the 21st?
Yes, 21st.
If we approve the position, if y'all approve the position on the 21st, the second reading of the budget, I'll move all of it to the CRA. So the first reading will be how it is, and then the second meeting, if that's how you all vote to put this.
We'll move over.
Then I'll move everything there.
Okay.
So if we decide to keep the farmer's market under the CRA, will that person be classified as a CRA employee, or will it be a city employee? And if they are, and if the second part of the question is most important, if they are classified as a CRA employee, will that hurt us with the county with our administration cost? Thank you.
They'll be a city employee, just like
under
the
the
executive director is
okay.
now. And with the county, what they're looking for is the actual bottom line there. Like I said, this is a budget neutral position, so the salary for that employee wouldn't go against your admin costs because it's covered. It's not coming from CRA TIF funds.
Okay.
Okay. Because see, that's why I'm so confused with this thing. Because in years past, this is my understanding, whatever that manager of the CRA made, that's what they get their
manager of the farmer's market.
Correct.
See, that's why I always thought it was never up under the city.
Well, everything runs through the city.
I know it runs through the city, but see, I don't know.
Like an enterprise.
Yeah, it was always confusing to me, because how you going to be a part of the city, but you're not a part of the city?
She is a part of the city.
Yeah, but that's how people have explained to me in the past. It was a part of the city, but it wasn't a part of the city. They had their own money. It was a wash.
It's a wash. You are absolutely correct. But still, she does solely work for the city of High Springs.
Okay, so my last question, and I'm going to leave it alone. So now what if she don't make any money from the farmer's market? Then who's going to pay her?
Okay.
If I can answer that question. Because if she doesn't make any money, we still have to pay her.
Right.
I'm going to be honest with you, even under this thing, if she didn't make any money, we would still have to pay her. Because the IRS is very specific. We tell her where to be there, when to be there, how to do the job, and it meets all the requirements of an employee. The IRS in the last couple of years has gotten very tight with that because everybody was using 1099s, not paying out any of the FICA or anything else. And they have said, if you hire a contractor, you can't tell him when to be there, how to do it. You only contract for him to do a job and when the job ends. And so with her, even though for a long time she met all the requirements, the IRS has just gotten very strict.
Well, I think where Byron's coming from, and see if this makes sense. right now, and I'll say the position, if they want to get paid,
Yes,
then they better earn the money.
right.
Once she becomes a city employee, the incentive to make the money is no longer there because I'm going to get paid anyways.
Either way.
Now, I'm trusting this person has a work ethic. I have not actually spoken with her. But that is the distinct difference. There is no pressure on the employee now to do the little things, to make sure things are done to generate the money, because I'm getting paid regardless of whether it flops or whether it booms. We're going to assume that risk, which puts a great burden over here. But that is something, that is the difference in the pay. It's not based on achievement. It's based on showing up.
True, but if it flops, then she probably won't have a job.
Well, I'm just making the difference for people when you're talking about the pay.
Right, I understand.
I'm assuming I have great pay. She's going to do the job regardless.
Right.
But there is a difference in the pay.
I understand.
And so we need to just understand that.
And so when we create this budget for this, we're going to base it on what's been made in the past.
Right.
The income from the farmer's market. Yes, and we have a lot of historical, data, data and what days are good and what things haven't worked and what things have worked. Because there are some days that have not quite panned out like they thought they would. So I think she has a good idea.
All right. We'll figure out somewhere down the road.
Say about December.
About December?
Yeah.
We're holding that together. If not, we're going to be in here.
Right.
That's all I got.
Okay.
But at the next CRA meeting, I'm assuming everybody will have time to get together, say what the benefits are, have a plan,
Budget for it.
and what the benefits of keeping it the old way are. I mean, just so we're a little bit more informed than just, hey, this is what we're thinking about.
Is the director of CRA paid by 1099 or is it 40?
Because we definitely can't pay her out of the CRA.
No, that's right.
Could I go back to the CRA executive director? Is she now paid by 1099 or as an employee?
She's paid as an employee.
Okay.
Is that it?
So these two will come at the 21st meeting, and then we have one on the 28th commission meeting a week later.
We're actually going to recommend that we have the meeting on the 25th. Because of the budget and that, we're asking to put the items from the 28th on the 25th. So we'll have one on the 14th and the 25th, if you agree.
So the stuff that the CRA does on the 21st, we could then do it on the 25th.
That is correct.
Yes.
As a council, with commission, we could then confirm it, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're ready to move along?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go to item number 5. Consider approval of revised interlocal agreement with the Lodge Bay County regarding wild spaces, public places funds.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I apologize that we did not get a copy of this to you earlier, but on the dais you should all have a copy of the agreement. At the last meeting, if you'll recall, the commission voted to contribute $300,000 of the city's wild spaces, public places money to the county for acquisition of the Rails to Trails corridor. So what is before you, a couple of months ago, you entered into an agreement with Alachua County involving your High Springs Spring project, and that was for the grant money for wild spaces, public places, that the county was willing to do a matching grant for $350,000. So we just amended that agreement that you already had. So many of these provisions are the same and you've seen them before. What's new is paragraphs 3 and 4. And so this outlines that you have agreed to pay the county $300,000 towards the purchase of the property, and that this contribution is contingent on the county actually purchasing the property. So the county right now has a purchase and sale agreement that they've executed with the Trust for Public Lands, and they are set to close in December of this year. But that agreement is contingent on your contribution and you agreeing to contribute by September 15th. And so this, yes.
Paying what by September 15th?
You have to agree that you are going to contribute the funds by September 15th, or the county can back out of the purchase. So
not the total.
Not the total. And so what we have worked out, your finance director and your manager, is that you would pay over a term of 60 months beginning in January of 2018. So the property will close in December. You would make your first payment in January, and you'd be making a payment of $5,000 every month. And the Wild Spaces money that you get a statutorily set contribution, and you get paid that monthly. And so then monthly, a portion of that will go from the city to the county. And so you receive more than $5,000 every month. So that was the number that your finance director and manager were comfortable with. What we also have in there is that if for some reason the county were to sell this property, that the city would be paid back. Or also if they chose to sell, that the city would have the right of first refusal. The city would be able to purchase the property from the county if you desired. It's no obligation to do so, but it allows you to use this to do that. And this allows you right of access to the property for all purposes that aren't otherwise restricted by federal law or the deed. And so the deed that will be coming to the county is pretty restrictive. They have to use this as a trail corridor. They can't use it for other purposes. And if you approve this, then this will be going on the next county commission meeting. But there is one change in paragraph 3 on page 4. It says that you would make payments by the 15th of each month. Just to keep up with our regular bookkeeping here, we would change that to the 30th. But I don't think the counties will object to that change from.
Okay.
Does the council or the commission need to vote on this tonight? Would you say, can they vote on this at the first meeting in September then? Is that, or do we need it tonight?
If the commission isn't comfortable voting tonight, we can wait, but your next commission meeting is on September 14th. And if you don't have an agreement by the 15th, then the county will be backing out. That's their last time to back out from the purchase of the property.
Do you know if the county has a meeting on the 15th?
No, the county has a meeting on the 12th. So the county would be voting to do this, and what I would imagine if we have not voted is they would make a contingent motion that tells staff that if the High Springs has not signed this, that they're backing out of the contract, because otherwise they're on the hook to pay the full purchase price. So it would be the county's preference that you had voted prior to their meeting.
So I think the best way to describe this contract is you're taking your Wild Spaces money and you're basically allocating it for a specific purpose over back to the county to buy the rails to trails. That's what's going on.
Right.
And there was some consternation on the part of the county that they would not do the rails to trails, and now they've backed off that position, and they're saying, look, we think this is a good idea for the county as a whole and the city, but we want the city to have some skin in the game. That's essentially what's going on here.
As a staff other than the lawyers, had time to review everything?
We have.
That's all everything's good with you.
Everything is good.
So the estimated, and I know Mr. Booth or Jennifer in this, but the estimated amount of money from Wild Spaces going forward is what per year? Okay.
In the neighborhood of $300 and some thousand a year.
Okay, so what we're basically saying is over the course of the time, let's round it, we're going to get $300,000 a year from Wild Spaces. We're allocating $50,000 a year for 6 years out of that to do the Rails for Trails. That's what so we're still going to have $250,000 a year
for projects
to do whatever other projects we want to do.
That is correct.
Okay, let's roll. I say vote on.
I'll make a motion.
Wait, before you do that. Back up a minute. We're getting $300,000 a year out of this?
Out of the Wild Spaces.
Right, out of the Wild Spaces.
Right, yes, ma'am. And then we're going to give back to the county $50,000 for 6 years for Rails to Trails.
Right.
That leaves us $250,000 to do projects in the park, put in lights, fix bathrooms, and do that every year. And to match some of the FERDAP grants that we're getting so that we can make our projects even larger. So I think we'll certainly have enough money to make the Parks Board
okay, that's what I'm
pretty happy
thinking in the back. Okay, all right, fair
Madam
enough.
Mayor?
Okay,
I just want to make it clear. It'll be a $60,000 contribution each year.
for 5 years.
For 5 years.
$5,000 a month.
But in addition, don't forget, part of this agreement is still the matching grant. So
Right.
you will be paying the county $300,000 over 5 years, but you will also be receiving $350,000 from the county of their Wild Spaces money for either your High Springs project, or as your manager said, if that project doesn't come to fruition, you can use those same funds for another one of your Wild Spaces projects.
Okay.
Or for the Rails to Trails. And so, but we'll see where we go here in the next couple of weeks.
And that's actually the original recommendation by the county was, instead of the matching funds coming to you, if you just wanted to say, okay, that money is going to be is our rail money, and so
That's
there
your
really
rail
wouldn't
money.
be a lot of money changing hands. But because we were underway with the High Springs, we thought it was in our best interest to go ahead and get that matching money now and pay out the rail corridor over a term of years.
I like that idea a lot better, because that way we have money to function, do that project on, and we're not having to come with that out of our own budget. This way we can budget $5,000 a month.
Okay, I'm good.
Make a motion to approve the amended interlocal agreement between Alachua County and the City of High Springs with the change of the payment date to the 30th versus the 15th.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that this agreement with the county be approved. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, city attorney's report.
Madam Mayor, there is a meeting in Newberry on Monday night. It concerns the the school resource officers, and the city of Newberry will make a determination. It's on the agenda. Whether they'll make the determination at that point or not is, I guess, a question. It could be decided that night, or it could be continued. The last time this came up, it was continued. But it's on the agenda again for Monday to make a determination of what they're going to do. Their options would be to contract with the sheriff, to extend the existing agreement with the sheriff to January 28th, or to contract with the City of High Springs for sheriff resource officers, such that the City of High Springs would be reimbursed by Newberry, and it would be a tri-party agreement between City of High Springs and the school board and the City of Newberry, Newberry being the funding source High Springs being the supplying of the school resource officer source, and the school board being the contracting entity to provide the requisite school resource officers into the 3 schools in Newberry: the Newberry Elementary, their middle school, Oakville View, and Newberry High School. So that'll be coming up Monday night. The purpose of my comments this evening is, as you know, I represent the city of Newberry. I represent the city of High Springs. And that's in the law what you call a conflict of interest. And so I want to put this on the record for your consideration. Now, having said all that, the contract that will be entered into is very similar to the contract that you already have with the school board for your school here. So that's going to be used as the base contract for the tri-party agreement, which is essentially a form contract between the city of High Springs and the school board. But I want to put that on the record specifically, and you don't have to make a determination about this tonight, but as this process goes forward, if any of you feel uncomfortable with your representation because of that, then I want you to know about that. And if you say, look, Scott, we want to have separate representation, there will be no feelings of angst on my side. If you say, we want a special attorney to come in and represent the city on this, that's fine. But I just want to put that on you all's radar screen that this is coming down the pike. You also have the ability to waive that conflict of interest, so it's going to be up to you if you wish to get a separate lawyer or just move forward and do the contract. This only comes into consideration if the city of Newberry says we want to go with the city of High Springs for these contractual services and do a tri-party agreement with the school board. So if the city says, no, we're happy with the sheriff and we'll go with the sheriff, then it's a moot issue and doesn't go forward. If the city says we'll contract with you, sheriff, for an extension through January, it may come up again. It just won't be quite as quick. If the city says we're going with High Springs, then it is an issue, and we'll talk about it when the contract comes up. And if you say, get a special attorney to come in, we'll search around and get somebody. If you say it's not, we don't consider this conflict to be something that we feel the need to go do that, then that's fine too. So that's where we're at. Just when we start talking about that issue, when it comes onto your radar, I just want to have had this discussion at least.
That's good.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate that.
If we do get to that point, can we make y'all pick your favorite city and y'all have to represent there? Is that not good? Just a question.
That's easy. That's an easy pick.
That's what you said in Newberry.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Anything else?
It reminds me when you ask 2 girls to go to the prom, the same that kind of issue.
I got a big one to go with me. I didn't ask 2 of them. Don't look at me quite like that anymore.
Okay, thank you. City managers report.
You bet. Well, the attorney stole my thunder, so you know. But yeah, I really think the issue we've already discussed it. What it is. We know what we'd charge them. We're not negotiating. We're not in a bidding war. Period. We're only backfilling them. We're their safety net if they don't accept the contract for the county. It's not, and that's it. And then, because our biggest priority are our kids, and if there's nobody there, we want to make sure that our officers go over there and do that. That's our position.
Okay.
I need a referendum, or I need just to vote if you would agree on to have the meetings on the 14th and the 25th.
Everybody
Commissioner
in
meeting?
favor?
Commission meeting. Because we have to do that with the budget. And so,
September 14th and 25th?
and the 25th, yes, sir. We would negate the meeting on the 28th.
I'm looking.
25th is a Monday.
14th
Yeah, that's Monday, 14th and
is
the
a
25th.
Thursday. And then the 25th is
A
a
Monday.
Monday. It's there and there.
Monday Night Football.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we got TVs now.
That's true, we can,
Recording.
All right.
No cable though.
So we're good. I'm okay with it.
okay.
Everybody okay?
Well, that's the second, I have it down as the second final budget.
It is.
We just
Okay.
go with it. Commission meeting as well.
Oh, and a commission meeting in
All in
addition.
one.
Okay, so we won't have anything on the,
28th.
okay. All right.
We all agree?
I don't have any problem with it.
We, last week, we went to the League of Cities, and I think that was a good meeting.
No, I was asking Byron, was he good?
Oh, he's good, okay. He certainly was good at the League of Cities meeting. And I think we all were. And so we had, we went to a lot of classes and learned some things. I'm not real memorized with state. I think they could do more for the cities than that, but they have their own priorities, whatever they are. I don't think they figured them out yet, but had some great fried chicken. That's right.
Good exercise.
Good exercise.
Yeah.
Worked it off.
And yeah, it was. That was a good meeting. It was in Orlando, and that's about it. We've had our budget, and it's been a very busy couple of weeks. Things will slow down. We are out for bids for both the Camp Kalakwa and the 10 grinder pumps, and they will come due probably in the next 2 weeks. So you'll be seeing all that probably on the 14th, hopefully, and then we can start moving forward with our grant projects.
All right. Commissioner Jones?
No comment. Nothing at this point.
Commissioner Jameson?
Status on the magistrate, where we are on the magistrate, if we could.
Actually, the attorneys are selecting. We don't have any applicants. However, the attorney that is next to the Great Outdoors, who came in there, expressed interest, and we will have our attorneys contact him to make sure that he gets in there. We would like to have more. We'd like to have a rotation, basically, and start those out 1st of October. We should have a number. We don't see them meeting but maybe once every quarter, but that gives us time to get a group of, and there's a lot of code enforcement that needs to happen. Because there's a magistrate, we can move forward with some of those houses that have been vacant for the last 20 years and are heirs property and are starting to fall down. We can certainly start taking action on that.
Will we have a magistrate on board October 1st?
Madam Mayor, your city clerk and I, we are going to go out, and because we didn't get anyone in the time, and it sounds like we do have someone who's interested, but we are going to re-advertise, and this time I'm going to post it to a local government listserv that I'm a part of, and we're going to send it to the Florida League of Cities to send out to, so that we'll get more applicants in.
We advertised in the lecture today, and we just didn't get any applicants in. Is where
That's correct. So we're going to work on getting that out again ASAP and get applicants in. But it's something that, like Mr. Booth said, it doesn't. It'll be really quick once we have those applications.
There are a lot of lawyers that are looking for work. We just need to pick the right lawyer that can fit the job. So we're just not. We didn't tap into the right source.
Okay. So the answer to my question would be yes.
What was your question?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that was a lot of lawyer speak, and I don't.
And that's why they get the big bucks.
Part of the deal, I'm not really worried about the process. We told the people we were going to do it. We're going to have somebody in by and I'll say the 1st of October, I'm saying within a relative, the week or so forth. But we're going to have somebody so they know we're doing what we said we'd do.
Yes, we'll do that, and hopefully then by the first meeting in October, we could be bringing the contracts to you
Okay.
for approval.
Okay. My second comment is I would do this. I'd like to put on the agenda for the next deal regarding this multi-user thing. And what I would like to do is put on there is to have a discussion and a vote on whether or not we want to proceed or whether or not we want to say, just keep it the way it was. So I want a discussion, do we want to pursue alternative structure, or do we want to just keep it the way it was and do nothing, just put it back the way it is? It doesn't seem very prudent on our part or from staff's time and energy that if the commission doesn't really want to do it, then there's no reason to allocate your time and resources to go out and research. If it's something that we think, yes, we need to do something, then okay. So, I mean, I would just like to have something on there and one or the other, kill it or move forward. I don't think we need to have this hanging out there as to what we're going to do. So if the commission says, look, this is not something we want to pursue, okay, then it's done. Things stay where it is. And then the other thing I would put on there is, the second item I would put on there is to discuss the refund of, whether or not we want to refund the money or not refund it.
Or maybe credit.
Or whatever. I'm just saying credit, whatever. I'm just saying, but something between those two, because, this is something that needs to be, at least in my opinion, there needs to be a decision made. We're going to do something, so we're going to continue to work on it, or it's not worth pursuing, kill it, and go back to the way things were.
We could actually have the resolution with the suggestion at the meeting, vote on.
Yeah, but we don't know what the resolution's going to be.
Not yet.
That's my whole point, is they're going to go research out and try to come up with something. I don't know what the resolution would be because
We haven't discussed.
I mean, and I don't know, and I'm not asking, but I mean, if the majority of the commission doesn't want to pursue this for whatever reason, then I don't want staff using their time and energy to gather data on something that we're just going to vote down 2 weeks later. So I would just like to have those on there. Let's make a vote and let's put it to rest. Thank you, Mayor.
Madam Mayor, I do have something, if I may interject.
Yes, you may.
Okay. I attended the county meeting last Tuesday, was it, with our director of CRA, and she gave a very good presentation of what was happening here in the city of High Springs. We stayed for the presentation of the Gainesville CRA, and it was quite, what would we use the term? You said it was like you were being... Right. It was kind of scary to watch, actually. But anyway, she did a very good job for the city of High Springs. They had no questions. They seemed to be pleased. And it was quite eye-opening for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Yes, ma'am. Let's see what we got here. As you see on as Mr. Booth said earlier, we attended the Florida League of Cities. One resolution here is to a resolution for the Florida League of Cities, Inc., recognizing the week of October the 23rd to the 29th as Florida City Recognition Government Week. So, something for thoughts. But, as you say, we went to a lot of classes. Local government is very important, Saints. I'm trying to say, I'm sorry. I was in the pulpit. Local government is, I think, is the most important government there is. It's because we're dealing with your water, or whatever, sewer, whatever, directly with the people. So the point I'm trying to make is, but the state don't want to let the cities do what they need to do for their people. And it's really sad. So when you get a chance, but there's several resolutions here that y'all need to look at, that the Florida League of Cities is trying to fight for us, for the local government, home rule, and just some of the programs they want to take from the cities that help us out financially. It's eye-opening. Citizens, it's eye-opening what the state want to do to the local government. And again, I just believe the local government is the most important government because we're dealing directly with the people. And some of your people in Tallahassee actually think that they know our citizens better than we do. There's no way possible. No way possible. They're not with you guys daily. They don't see you at Winn-Dixie or way up and way over. So it's very important for us to keep notice of what's going on with the state and voice our opinion, and that we can operate as a city to make sure our people have what they need when they need it. Because it'd be a shame if you flush your toilet and you can't flush it. Wouldn't it, Jason?
It'd be
it would.
a type of situation, I don't want to say.
It's true. It's serious. As I was sitting in some little class and I was thinking about it, it's very serious. It's serious what we do on a local government. So appreciate your local government because it's a job that we do. Also on September the 2nd, we're going to have a dedication service for Walter Howard Park. That'll be from 2 to 3. That's Saturday, September the 2nd at Walter Howard Park.
Didn't that change?
Yeah, we changed it again.
Okay.
Too much going on.
That's good. I can attend it.
Attend it. Yeah. And now for the good news. Good news. I'm taking a vacation next month. The whole month.
The whole month.
The whole month.
Except for the second.
Except for the second, yes indeed. I've been threatened that I need to take some time off. So I'm going to take some time off. I'll kind of see where I'm at for those commissioner meetings. We'll kind of see what's on the agenda, Jenny. If I'm in the area, I may come. I may not come. We'll just see. But again, I've been threatened not only by somebody at the house, but also at the church. So it's been a while since I had some time off. So if I'm not here, y'all know where I'm at. But we'll see what the agendas look like for those meetings, and we'll go from there. That's all I have.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
I'd just like to reiterate that I do think it's a good idea what Scott wanted. I think we do need to get this on next meeting's agenda so we can go ahead and figure out what we're doing and get it done. That way people aren't out there just in limbo. I attended the League of Cities as well. I found some of the classes good, but then some of them seem to be more about getting your name out there than anything, but that's a different story. And then again, with Byron, local home rule government's definitely important. That's what founded our country. We were mad about people 2,000 miles away taxing us and taking our money, and we're just as mad today when people do it when they're 100 miles away or 1,000 miles away. So it's kind of funny. The counties don't like the cities. The state doesn't like the counties. And the only time the counties like cities is when they're both against the state about the same subject. So it's funny how that rolls downhill. But I don't have anything else at this time, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in other people's baskets. I'm good about doing that.
All right. Well, I also spent some time at the League of Cities, and one of the classes I went to was that on the upcoming census. And I gather from that class that it's going to be totally different from what we've been used to. So we got some work to do because we want to make sure that we get everybody counted and counted properly. So we're going to have to look at that. And secondly, I got an envelope that was sent to me full of pictures. So you guys can all take a look and tell me what you think. These pictures was taken out at the ball field out here.
Civic Center?
No, at the ball field.
Well,
And they say if you go out there early in the morning, that's the kind of thing that you see out there. So we need to do something about that.
Now, when you say ball field, which park are we talking about?
The big park
Look
right
like the
back-
Civic Center.
Basically trash, folks, is
Yeah.
what we're seeing is trash, so you're not wondering.
and the walking park back here.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, I know we have crews that go and clean it up.
Sure.
I think a lot of it is just youngins.
Maybe
think a
now
lot
the
of it
school's
is.
back in, they won't be quite so.
But they made a point of mailing them to me so I could see.
What day of the week? Is it a Monday after the weekend?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
I mean, I was just, from a public work standpoint, for our guys to maybe do an extra look-see if we knew it was on Monday.
I don't know
We
what
could get
day
them
it
out there
was.
early Monday to check it.
I just got the pictures in the envelope, no name or nothing. Nothing.
What's that white powder that was on there?
All right. I'm done. I'll entertain a motion if you're ready.
So moved.
All right, meeting adjourned.
What time, Ed?